Hey, welcome. So we've all been there, right? You set these big, ambitious goals, you're fired up, you're full of motivation, and then a few weeks later, it all just kind of fizzles out. Well, today, we are diving into a totally different, science-backed system to change that. Think of it like upgrading your mental software so you can finally actually achieve what you set out to do. Let's get into it.
And it all starts with this pretty shocking number. Get this, a full 80% of New Year's resolutions are completely abandoned by the second week of February. 80%! So, if you've ever felt that sting of disappointment, trust me, you are not alone.
So, what's going on here? What's the real problem? Is it that we're all just lazy? Or unmotivated? Is there some fundamental lack of willpower that just dooms us from the start? You know, that's what we usually tell ourselves, but it's not actually the real reason we fail.
See, the issue isn't you. It's not the person, it's the plan. Or really the lack of one. It's the outdated operating system we're all trying to run. We try to rely on these fleeting things like motivation and willpower when what we really need is structure, clarity, and a solid strategy. We need to set goals that are designed for how our brains actually work.
So that brings us to part one, crafting brain-friendly goals. This is all about how to set goals that your brain won't just remember, but will feel a real, genuine impulse to act on.
And the formula here is surprisingly simple, but it's so powerful. Instead of just thinking about your goals, you've got to write them, feel them, and see them. See, your brain doesn't just act on random thoughts. It acts on things that feel tangible, real, and emotional.
And check this out. This is the power of that very first step. A study from Dominican University of California found that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. That's it. When you take an idea from the invisible world inside your head and make it visible on paper, you're sending a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, pay attention, this matters.
Okay, now what we write down is also super important. We tend to focus on what's called the lag measure. That's the big outcome, like lose 20 pounds. But we can't directly control that, can we? The absolute key is to define and focus on your lead measure. That's the daily action you can control, like walking 10,000 steps, that makes the outcome pretty much inevitable. You focus on the action, day in and day out, and the results have no choice but to follow.
Now, let's talk about that second step, feel it, because this is where the magic really happens. Your brain doesn't remember what's just logical, it remembers what's emotional. So by attaching a strong because statement to your goal, like, I want to lose 20 pounds because I want to feel vibrant and have energy for my kids, you create this emotional fuel. That's what's going to carry you through the tough days when you just don't feel like it. All right, so you've set a fantastic brain-friendly goal. Awesome. Now for part two, building your follow-through engine. This is the actual system that makes sure you stay consistent long after that initial spark of motivation fades away.
And the core of this engine is a cool concept from psychology called implementation intentions. I know it sounds a little complicated, but it's really just a clear, pre-programmed rule for your brain. The formula is incredibly simple. If this specific situation happens, then I will do this specific action. You're basically taking all the guesswork and in-the-moment decision-making out of the equation.
And here's exactly what that looks like in the real world. Instead of just vaguely hoping you'll go for a walk sometime, your rule is, if it's 7 a.m., then I will put on my walking shoes and go for a walk. Or, if I finish lunch, then I will read 15 pages. You're giving your brain a map and automating the behavior, so eventually it becomes as effortless as brushing your teeth.
And you can seriously supercharge this with something called the WHOOP method. It's simple. You start with your wish, your goal. Then you visualize the best case outcome. But then, and this is the part most people skip, you identify the obstacle. What is actually going to get in your way? And finally, you make your plan for that obstacle using an if-then statement. This makes success so much more predictable because you've already decided how to handle the problem before it even shows up.
Okay, let's move into part three, because this is about real-world consistency. It's not enough to just have a plan in your head. You also have to shape your surroundings and, this is huge, know how to bounce back when things inevitably go wrong. Here's the thing about your brain. It will always follow the path of least resistance. So the trick is to design your environment to make the right path the easiest one. For good habits, you want to remove friction, like laying out your workout clothes the night before. And for bad habits, you do the opposite. You add friction. Log out of all those distracting social media apps so it takes more effort to get sucked in. It's simple, but it works.
Now, I can already hear what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I just don't have the time.
It is, without a doubt, the single most common reason people give for not building new habits.
But let's just reframe that for a second. Let's say you want to build a 30-minute habit, like reading or exercising. That 30 minutes takes up just 2% of your entire day. 2%. It really puts it into perspective, right? We often have the time, it's just getting eaten up by things that don't really move us toward our goals. But okay, what happens when you miss a day? Because you will, it's inevitable. This is where the fail-proof reset comes in. And here's the secret. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't perfection. It's how fast they reset. Champions don't avoid failure. They just get back on track faster than anyone else.
So here's exactly how you do it. The #1 cardinal rule is never miss 2 days in a row. 1 missed day is a slip-up. 2 missed days is the beginning of a new negative habit. And when you get back on track, you have to do it with kindness, not punishment. Get curious, what threw you off? And then reconnect with that powerful emotional why, your because statement. The goal isn't to beat yourself up. It's to rebuild trust with yourself.
And all of this brings us to our final section, your system for success. This is really the core philosophy that ties all these little pieces together and helps make your progress feel almost inevitable.
And this quote from author James Clear just says it all. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. It's not about ambition alone. It's the brain-friendly goal setting, the if-then plans, the environment design, and the fail-proof resets we've been talking about that truly determine your success. That's the foundation you fall back on when motivation disappears.
So let's make this real. Right now, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one question to start building your own system. Take a look at your goals. Think about your day. What is the very first, very simple, if-then statement you can create to start moving forward today?